Am I the asshole for secretly visiting my mom behind my family's back? I, 22 male, was 6 years old when my mom, 41, signed away her parental responsibilities to my dad and left. Since then, it's just been my dad and my Aunt Jane, mom's sister, there for me. When I was 9 I got an invite to my mom's wedding, and I wanted to go so badly, I'd have a role, but I got sick, and ended up out of it in the hospital. My mom visited me every day in the hospital, and it was the most I'd seen her in 3 years. I remember my aunt said mom was so excited to see me when my sister was supposed to be born, but I couldn't go cause she was born dead. My aunt took me to the funeral and mom didn't let go of me the whole time there. I didn't see my mom at all after that, and my dad and aunt shut me down when I asked about her. I didn't have social media till university and couldn't reach out. I know I had another sister, but she and my stepdad died in a car crash a few years ago. But on Thanksgiving my girlfriend and my friends did shrooms for the first time. I heard it helps with depression. I don't remember much of what we did, cause we got drunk too, but while high I messaged my mom on Facebook. That led to a tearful reunion at a Starbucks. Ever then I've been secretly seeing mom and sometimes staying over at her place. There was a room left and to shade there for years just for me. I missed her so much and just getting to hug her again each time I see her makes me feel good. She told me why she was barely in my life and why my aunt and dad don't want me to see her, and she didn't go easy on herself, so I know she was honest. Either way, I was visiting my aunt yesterday and my mom texted me when I was in the washroom, left the phone in the kitchen. My aunt saw and she freaked it, so I told her everything. She told me I was being selfish doing shrooms, seeing my mom without taking her, and most of all not telling my dad, and begged me to stop seeing her. Honestly, I feel really bad that I hid it from my dad, but I know how he'll react, so I felt I had to. Let's move on to the comments and see what advice the Reddit community had for OP. No assholes here. It sounds like your aunt and dad are trying to protect you from your mom, who seems to have had some seriously toxic behaviors. You are trying to have a relationship with your mom without hurting the mom and dad that actually raised you. You are an adult and under no obligation to share every aspect of your life with anyone, so you aren't an asshole at all. However, you seem to be glossing over the negatives about your birth mom. Granted, this is based on a few scant paragraphs, but still. She obviously noped out a few times, so tread carefully, or you may find yourself in a worse position if she bails on you again. And consider having an open conversation with your dad and aunt. They obviously love you very much, as they are trying to guard you against heartbreak. But if you don't want to let them in about this, that's okay too. And OP replied, however, you seem to be glossing over the negatives about your birth mom. Granted, this is based on a few scant paragraphs, but still. She obviously noped out a few times, so tread carefully, or you may find yourself in a worse position if she bails on you again. I'm not, and neither is my mom. She was more honest about why she wasn't there than my dad or aunt and was harder on herself than they have been. Like she agreed that them blocking her attempts at reaching out was a good thing. I would've typed more in about it, but this isn't a relationship sub, and there's a word limit. And she's not going anywhere. She only leaves the house for coffee and the gym since my stepdad and sister died. And consider having an open conversation with your dad and aunt. They obviously love you very much, as they are trying to guard you against heartbreak. But if you don't want to let them in about this, that's okay too. I want to have an open conversation, but I'm scared of how they'll react. If my aunt acted like this, then I know my dad's going to be just as stubborn. Not the asshole. You're 22, you can make your own decisions. But realize that by allowing her back into your life you're going to upset your father and aunt, and bring up those feelings all over again for both of them of when your mother abandoned you. They probably think she's getting off easy for throwing you away and leaving them with the hard years of raising you and coming back when she has no responsibilities. I couldn't imagine letting her back into my life so easy when she threw you to the side and went on to have more children she actually took care of and only showed attention towards you when her own children were no longer living. Ultimately it's your decision to make. And OP replied, I couldn't imagine letting her back into my life so easy. When she threw you to the side and went on to have more children she actually took care of and only showed attention towards you when her own children were no longer living. It's not like that. I mean, I know I could see it like that, and I think my dad and aunt do, but it's not like that to me. That's something you have to work out with yourself. If you want to repair the relationship then it's solely your decision, not your father's or aunt's. OP said. I know. It's not like I don't understand my dad or my aunt's viewpoint. She left me, spent a year in inpatient, and then spiraled after my sister died. My mom herself says they're right about who she was. Maybe you're right and I'm letting her off too easy, but she's still my mom, and I still love her. Let's move on to the update to see how this situation resolved. Update: am I the asshole for secretly visiting my mom behind my family's back? So this is a bit wacky, but you guys were right about honesty and I decided I was gonna go tell my dad. However, right when I made it home I got a text from my girlfriend to go to see her in the hospital. She was getting discharged. So I rushed to the hospital. My mom called me on the way and I just had Siri send the response, "Lisa's in the university hospital, we'll talk later." Well, I was let in the room with my GF, and she told me that while she was fine they found out that she's pregnant. Honestly, I didn't know how to feel, but seeing her smile just gave me an idea that it'll all be alright. So when she fell asleep I dunno, I just waited outside trying to gather my thoughts and all I could think about was my sister's funeral. I dunno, I felt like shit, like she was a baby, and what if that happens to mine? So I started crying and all those depressive thoughts came back. My mom came to the hospital, and it was the first time she's left her house for anywhere but the gym or Starbucks, and when she texted me, I told her where I was. When she came she saw me crying outside the room. She thought it was bad news and just hugged me tight and sang me a song that she used when I was small and then said stuff like, "It'll be okay, baby, it'll all be okay." I didn't stop crying, but somehow told her Lisa's pregnant. I said I don't know what to think and used it to broach the idea of therapy with my mom, cause she knows what depression is like and I want working through my feelings about being a dad and having her in my life with her. I convinced her cause I just said I didn't want to lose her ever again, no matter what my dad or my aunt say. She stayed with Lisa and me until she got discharged. As for my aunt, she gave me an ultimatum to tell my dad or she will. So I got them together and laid the entire thing out from the shrooms to the pregnancy. I think my dad wanted to have a heart attack and my aunt wanted him to blow up at me like his face got so red, but just said, if I'm going to be a man he has to trust me to make my choices. That seemed to bother my aunt but she chilled. We've only had like 4 sessions so far, but it has been hard unpacking those feelings about my depression, how I felt when I was hospitalized or at my sister's funeral, and how angry I was at my dad for never letting me see her, and being a dad myself. It's been hard hearing how she thought she was a curse and I was better off without her, and how she feels I shouldn't forgive her cause she deserves to be a spinster. But end of the day she's not a curse. She's my mom and I know she loves me and I want her in my life and my child's life. It sounds like OP is on the right track to mending her relationship with her mother. And now on to the next story. Will I be the asshole if I don't go to my friend's wedding, even if I'm his best man? I, male 29, am supposed to be one of the witness for my high school's friend, male 28, wedding. He asked me last year, and I said yes, but I'm not even sure that I want to go there anymore. My friend, let's call him H, is the kind of person who disappears when he has a girlfriend. He has been dating his current girlfriend for 4 years. Their beginning was rough. She pulled a few stunts like getting mad at him for going to his niece's birthday instead of spending the weekend with her, or storming from the car in the middle of nowhere after a fight. Nothing too bad when it's an isolated event, but this happening several times plus a lot of inappropriate comments made the rest of our friend group not like her much. One day H and I were discussing, and he told me that he felt the whole relationship was toxic, and that he was going to break up the same night. The day after that they announced that they were moving together, and since then, he could be dead that there would not be a lot of difference. He doesn't answer our texts, never come to any gathering whatsoever. The 2 last time we saw him was at his birthdays, when we came by surprise, after learning he had a rough time with his parents. His parents don't see him a lot anymore because he spends all his time with his girlfriend family. And now, the wedding is planned for July, and the rest of the group is starting to wondering if we really want to bother to go there. On one hand, it would be just one bad day for us where we would just have to bite the bullet, because it is important for H. But on the other, he's been ignoring us for years and we don't really want to pretend to be happy for him when he is marrying a girl that none of his friends or family like. Hope this is not too painful to read. English is not my first language. Let's move on to the comments. Not the asshole, but tell him why you won't come to his wedding. Tell him his relationship has taken over every aspect of his life and you've drifted apart as a result. Not the asshole. Don't go. But inform him now, so he has the time to figure out what he's gonna do instead, assuming the wedding even happens. If he's hardly spoken to you in the last few years anyways, it doesn't even really make sense for you to be his best man. I'm sure someone from his girlfriend's family will gladly fill that role, since that's who he spends his time with now anyways. Not the asshole. It sounds like he is in an abusive relationship and his girlfriend has isolated him from all his friends and family. So he is not the asshole for not responding. He is most likely the victim here. So it would be great if you went to the wedding, and if you kept trying for your relationship. He might need help leaving her at some point. Because she isolated him, he will have nobody. However, it is not something you are required to do and doesn't make you the assholes. Not the asshole, but it doesn't sound like a healthy relationship, so as his friend I would encourage you to make sure he's okay. Sounds like she is isolating him, which is an abusive tactic sometimes. As the best man, it's your job to tell your buddy he's making a mistake. P.S. Your English is just about flawless. You will be the asshole. I say this not because of your choice, but because of how you are looking at it. Like you said, this is just one day for you, and it is one day that could change his entire life. Option A. Don't go because F that guy. Panta guy at wedding, no friends around him. He feels truly trapped and knows he has suffered to stay in this relationship because he has lost everyone. No one to help him, no courage or confidence to stand up for himself because he feels lost and alone. Note, this may not be how he feels, but it might. Option B. Go there, show him what it's like to have his friends, remind him he's not alone, you will be there for him. If he changes his mind, maybe talk to him while the bride is getting ready. Don't go, hey your GF is an ass, but how are you doing man? We miss you. We are always just a phone call away, and hopefully remind him that he isn't alone, and doesn't have to be. Edit. My formatting got messed up somehow. Some context: I was in a bad relationship once. I thought it was a phase, but after a few years I realized it wasn't, and I was trapped with no friends, no outs, no confidence. I had one friend who did eventually reach out and help me find my confidence again. I'm out of that relationship, and I'm much happier now, and have this one friend, new friends, and some old ones that I get to see regularly now. I made a mistake, and I wish I had been there for them more. I do everything I can now. If I have $1, they have $1. If I have a bed, they have a bed. Was I shitty? Yes. Did I need just one person to help remind me of who I am and regain my confidence? It helped a ton. You might just be that person. Now, this is not your responsibility, of course. So if you don't go for your mental health, I respect that. But like you said, it's just one day for us. It could be so much more for him. Sorry for the giant text. I just want to give a daily reminder. One action can change someone's life. And now let's move on to the update to see what Op decided to do. Update. Will I be the asshole if I don't go to my friend's wedding, even if I'm his best man? So, after several attempts to contact my friend, he finally replied to my friends and me. He explained how his life had been busy these past months/years with many personal and professional plans, and how bad he felt for not keeping contact with us. And for the wedding itself, he said that since he was feeling guilty for being such a bad friend, he was not deserving to have us as his best man, and that he decided to ask the 3 of his colleagues to be his best man. He concluded the text by saying that he was hoping to organize a barbecue one of these days to catch up. It might be hypocritical from me, since I was planning to eventually not coming to his wedding, but still, I feel betrayed by the outcome. So yeah. I'm even less motivated to go, or maybe to see him one last time on a good day, before cutting him of my life. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us. What were your thoughts on today's stories? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps this channel grow.